Yo. Oh, hey, good morning, everybody. You already know what it is. We got lots to discuss today, but I'm not even going to waste your time. Let's jump right on into this penguin thing, my friend, because it has been a few days since it popped off. But in addition to that, there's some other things on the docket that we want to talk about. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. This news that dropped about Denzel being in the MCU possibly, and him confirming it is something I have feelings about. I'm also happy about this Miles Morales live action confirmation that we should be getting this upcoming movie. So that's a good look. But there's so many more things to talk about. So hope you ready. Strap on in, my friend. It's the new Blurred Order. Let's do it how we do every weekend. Let's rap,
I love the
baby.
new blurred order. You should too.
Mm. Whoa. Let me get all this 10p Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except now I ain't got a name. Got it out the mud but we got no stains. Cold ass ninja with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga stay clean so he always got hoes. Light skinny bitches like
All righty, y'all. Well, good morning, like I said. And before we get into the Spider-Verse, before we get into whether or not we're feeling Denzel, how about the fact that, yo, this penguin thing did what we thought it was going to do? I mean, I don't even want to waste time. Like so much stuff happened on it. Good morning, my brother. Good morning, my sister. It's Nolly. We got Ty in the building, and it feels like the dawning of a new era of comic book cinema. Um, and I'm thrilled, even though I would say this harkens back to the Daredevil days. But man, this finale, bro, was completely nuts. So let's get right on into it. Before we do that, real quick, I did have I did have to mention that I saw a live action Mike Tyson Punch Out last night. and, and and little Mac seemed to win not 8 rounds, and it was a whole interesting spectacle. Maybe we'll delve into that a little later. Who knows? I don't know, but that was crazy. Also, Arcane is live right now. It is still, I believe, one of the dopest animated series that I've ever seen. And the storyline is completely nuts. What If is coming out pretty soon. Excuse me, What If is, oh, this is not the thing I was looking for. What If is
And
coming
that
out pretty
is
soon.
soon.
So we're looking forward to that. And yeah, man, DDZ is out. There's a whole bunch of things going on. But like I said at the outset, I wanted to start specifically with the Penguin episode. So, Ty, I know you've seen it, man. Um, all right, let me just start from where um I think most folks are gonna go. And let's just go ahead and be out of spoils. And forgive me, I can't talk too loud. I'm in a public place right now. I'm in the hometown. I'm in St. Louis, and I'm outside, and I can't be as expressive as I want. I might not could even be here that long. This might be a short show because I don't know. People gonna start pouring in. But all right, where to start? Should we start from the end and work our way back? Should we start from the beginning and work our way forward? All right. Before we jump into what I think is the most chilling part of the whole entire episode, I want to go to the essence of Penguin. I think what we learned this episode, for me, Ty, what was confirmed is that Penguin's superpower is deception. That's his superpower. He doesn't have an arsenal with a bunch of weapons like Batman. He doesn't have the ability to make plants think a certain way like Poison Ivy. He's not Mr. Freeze with a bunch of gadgets. His power is he is deceptive to a fault. Like they literally put him in a room with his mom and was like, yo, all I want you to do is tell your mom what happened with your brothers back in the day. And he was like, what are you talking about? And the way they started the episode was showing us that she knew the whole time. She told Penguin, she's like, bro, I know. She had the thing with her finger. It's about to get cut off. And he was like, what are you talking about? But it happened, Ma. Ma, what are you talking about? In that moment, we realized this motherfucker's a piece of shit. For real. Like it's not even like an act at all. Like he's gonna let his mom finger get cut off for not letting her know that I know. that she knows. Like I don't even know how to unpack it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like it's messed to me.
Yeah, we knew we've known for a while that the Penguin is a piece of shit. Uh
Mm.
we I think at this very moment in that scene, we realize that he's a heartless piece of shit. Like he's
Yeah.
like the one person that you have claimed from the very onset of this series that you love beyond anything else and adore more than anything else is your mother. And
Mhm.
in that very moment, we see that the Penguin is not only does he not love his mother like he thinks he does, but we realize in that moment that the only person that Penguin loves is Penguin. He loves
Mhm.
him. He loves himself so much that he's willing in that very moment to have them cut off his mother's finger to keep
Mm.
a secret that he doesn't know that his mom already knows. And even after she tells him she knows it, he still doubles down on the fact that no, 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 you're confused. This is the
Yeah, yeah.
disease talking.
It
Like
shouldn't.
they did this to you, ma. Like I don't know what they did to you, ma, but I don't know. Don't believe it. Don't believe. He's still not willing to let go of the secret that he's harbored for so many years and allow his mother. When Sophia said, "Yo, you was really gonna let us cut off her finger?" Like you a
He
piece
was
of
still
shit.
playing.
Like you
Yeah,
really are like you don't love your mother, not like you
yeah.
say you do, not like you
Mm.
not like you believe you do. Because if you did, you would have just told us the truth and not let us put her through all of this pain and suffering.
Okay, so I've had time to think about this, and what if Penguin? It, first of all, who knows what they're actually thinking? But what if Penguin in that moment was not necessarily certain that whether or not he told the truth or a lie, it was going to have any impact. He's dealing with Sophia. You know what I'm saying? So what if he's like, well, you're going to cut it off anyway, or like you're going to kill her anyway? Like, why even make myself look stupid for a couple moments just so you can do what you're going to do anyway? I mean, that's a far fetched like option to think on, but that's the one thing I can think. But even that don't even really
Like
make
I was
no
about to
sense
say,
because she said I know her. She's
yeah,
like,
even if
and
that's
it
the case, are you willing to
and
risk
even
it?
and remember when she was like, "Yo, come on, tell him." Like she did it with her too. She was like,
Mhm.
"Yo, tell him you wanted me." Remember, are you regretting now not having us drive off with your son and doing that stuff? Like, and he was looking like, "Yo, mom, what did she talk about?" You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't know. And even though she heard that, he still was like, "Nah, man, nah, ain't nothing happened." And that's crazy to me. And that in that moment, I was like, "Oh, so that is the superpower." You know what I'm saying? He can't do. It's not even something he can help. It's his nature. And that's dope. I mean, that this is the main character, and it also gives room to shows that don't have to have a hero as a main character. The main character does not always have to be the good guy or the guy with the good motives and the good the role model. The main character can legit be a piece of shit, and I think that that's working for this business model. Um, there's some other things that happen. There's a lot of Easter eggs too. Um, I know we talked about some of this on the phone, but there was they brought two, three, excuse me, three of the characters from the Batman into the fold. Three of them. Do you know what those three characters are?
Selena Kyle,
Selena Kyle,
Batman,
Batman.
and who was the third?
It was the mayor in the Batman movie, the lady. If you remember,
Oh, okay. Yeah. The black mayor.
Bella
Yeah, I didn't.
Real.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
So Penguin was talking about bringing Bella Ray, like wanting to be in the room with Bella Real, and they showed pictures, posters. They had her name plastered up in certain places, and this was not. They have successfully tied the two movies just to say, I mean, look, the movie obviously Penguin came from the Batman, but now there's a possibility we may see Catwoman in the Penguin because at the end, and I feel terrible because Nolly didn't see this. She said she was cool with the spoiler. And Nolly, you swear you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm cool. Also, apparently, there was also a scene where you could see Scarecrow's mask and his glove in the office.
And who office?
Some fans were posting, and I saw it on IGN. Let me see.
Thanks, Nicole. That's the homie Nicole right there. Yeah, man. So bring that up. While you're looking that up, Nolly, it was crazy that we saw not only Sophia go to the prison back to where she came from, which once again was brilliant. Like that whole scene time was brilliant. The way Penguin set it up. And that goes to the art of deception once again. He led that girl to believe that he was about to, basically walk her out to her death. And then being to click helicopters, lights. That's a brilliant, like the dude knows what he's doing. And to have the wherewithal to start working with the underlings, with the bosses like they're number ones. You know what I'm saying? Like old boy that went up against the dudes from the triads, and everybody had like Link. Yes. What's up? You found it, Nolly? Nolly, say you found it?
So back in episode 4, when Sophia's in Rush's office, when she's on the couch and he's like sitting next to her in the other chair, and you look straight ahead at his desk, you see Scarecrow's glove and his little headpiece. So like implying that Rush's Scarecrow is what people are gathering from it. Well, I don't know.
That would actually make sense now that you think about it, because that would absolutely make sense. And the reason being is because Scarecrow uses hypnosis or like the gases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hypnotize people and also like make them go crazy, go mad. And one of the things that was a tell was that red light. Remember the red light that he used on the mom? Like that he was using to gather all of this data and everything that he gathered on Penguin. So that actually tracks. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is because you made a really good point about the main character doesn't always have to be the hero.
Right.
What has to be present is really good writing, and this show was extremely well written. We talked about this last night, and I really am dead set on this because I've had more time to think about it, and also like kind of compare theories. I personally think this is the best origin story that I've seen in a very, very, very long time in regards to a character. The character development, the scenes, the visual effects, the writing, everything was perfect. Like as perfect as you could get when it comes to quality series. This is one of, if not the best origin series or movie that I have seen in a very, very long time. Anytime you can develop multiple characters within a series so much that Sophia's character was so good. I know I wasn't the only one. I know there's no way I could be the only one. But when he was walking her out to kill her, I was in the background like, y'all can't kill her. Y'all can't kill her. You know, I was absolutely like, nah, you can't kill her. She's not gonna die. I was saying it the whole time that he was walking. I was like, they're not about to kill Sophia. She's too important. Her character is too important. And it's because we've fallen in love with these well-written characters.
Yes.
Sophia has you can tell she's gonna have a long life within this universe. We knew ultimately that some way, and we were all interested to see how, but we knew that this Penguin would be tied in to the Batman universe at some point. We knew Batman has been absent of this show the entire season. When is he gonna pop up? That was like, when is he gonna pop up? We know he's gonna show up at some point.
I didn't expect him to pop up, honestly.
I mean, when you like again, like when you think about what the whole purpose of this is, which is Matt Reeves building his universe, and I'm telling you, Matt Reeves, oh my God, like, dude, if this is not the blueprint on how to start up a universe, I don't know what else is. Like what he's done is he introduced us to the universe of the Batman in the Batman. He introduced us to a new version of Gotham City that we hadn't encountered yet. Penguin is now breaking down this universe, this vast universe that he's created, and giving us these characters in a way that we never thought possible. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have a lot of Penguin love or knowledge going into this, so I wasn't like, oh, Penguin, I can't wait for a Penguin origin story, because that's what everybody's calling for. Right. Nobody was calling for it, but now that we've gotten it, I know you, me, Nolly, everybody on the panel is thirsty. Like the thirst, like I'm parched at this point. I'm parched at this point, to the point where I need more and more, and give me more, and I won't be satisfied. Because when you get something this good, yes, it feels that way. It feels like a drug. It feels like a drug. It feels like every week I was tapped in for my daily dose of Penguin. And now that I know the series is over, well, the season is over, not the series, obviously. But now that the season is over, I'm already fiending. I'm already over here scratching. I'm already over here like, oh, well, where I'm gonna get this next fix? When are y'all gonna give me some more? When are y'all gonna give me some more? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Yes, yeah. I'm out here dehydrated. Yes, my yes, my therapist. I'm out here parched, man. I'm
out here parched. Blue magic.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, more than that though. Well, let me take this for a second. Would it be safe to say that what DC or Matt Reeves, whatever they've done with this show, is somewhat, not really, but somewhat a page out of the OG Marvel's book back before Disney acquired them, like with the gritty streets, the Daredevil, you know what I'm saying? Like, because this, I had Luke Cage, like flashbacks of like him visiting Cottonmouth, and like all of those scenes where it was kind of a gritty scene, like gritty city, relationship with the city. Only difference is Luke Cage, Daredevil, those are all the heroes. In this particular instance, they're focusing on the asshole of the thing. And the best part is what Matt Reeves also learned from, I believe, in Marvel, is you don't take a show and introduce a character. You introduce the character in the big show, in the big movie. And then you take that interest and you weave it and use somebody of lower interest. Like, they didn't say, okay, we're going to come out of Avengers and we're going to do just movies about Captain Marvel, about Captain America. It was like, okay, we got Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Ant-Man, you know what I'm saying? We got these other like side brand, off brand characters that we can put a little bit more to the forefront. And I think that that's somewhat Marvel-esque. You don't think there's any kind of anything that they learned from the Marvel playbook here? Any of y'all?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that you can. I mean, if you look deep enough, you can associate one thing with the other. I mean, especially when there's nothing else to compare it to. So you want to compare it to something of its likeness. But I will double down again and triple down again. I don't know that we've seen anything this complete. And I don't want to take anything away from Marvel, but what I'm seeing in this particular series is continuity all the way around. Like every department did their fucking jobs and did them great. Like when you when you just let's talk about the costume department for a moment.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about them for a moment. Let's give them their flowers. Okay. Yo, the way they did this dude's masking
like
and his costume. Listen, we haven't seen anything like this outside of CGI that can create a character and keep him in this poly mask or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever they make the skin and all of that kind of stuff out of. But to be able to have it, because I watched the interview and he was talking about how it's so hot up under all of that stuff that they put him on, and so hot that they had to bring all of these different fans and air conditioners and stuff on set, and from like every so often he has to like stop filming and go cool down because he's so hot underneath all of this stuff that he's wearing for hours. They said when for him to put all of this stuff on, it's like 2 to 3 hours, maybe even 4, that it takes for them to put everything on him. Now, once he's got it all on him, he's got to walk around with all of this stuff on him. And
hey,
just
Ty,
yo,
can you keep talking? I'm in St. Louis, and
We got this.
I had some White Castle.
You made mistakes. And all make mistakes, and we all learn from them.
I love how you just stopped me from talking to tell me to start to keep talking. But
I just did because I'm about to walk away, and I didn't want you to lose your train of thought. So
nah.
back.
I just lost my train of thought. Thank you for that.
Make up about 4 hours a day.
Yes. Thank you, Nolly. Thank you. But yes, the amount of time that was spent on doing his costume, putting him in that costume, facilitating him being able to stay in that costume without having to take it off, that just speaks volumes to how well people did their jobs, how seriously they took this whole ordeal. And when you have great acting, when you have everybody in their position doing the best possible work that they can do, you get stuff like this. You get a series that literally, Nolly, is it me? But can you point out anything in this series that you would say they could have done this better, or point to something that is like, yo, I wasn't happy with that, or anything like it would have been better if they did this? Is there anything that you can point out, like in any regards to the series that they could have done better?
They did such a good job, from makeup to how they filmed it to how they chose to tell the story, because I feel like the issue with a lot of Batman villains is that we focus too much on Batman's perspective of things, that we don't get the full story on the villains. Like, we may know their lore and their background from comics, but it's always told from the perspective of someone rooting for Batman. So the fact that they didn't even give us a speck of Batman, like throughout the first couple of episodes of the show, like it was a good take. It was well done, and it got to give us, like, at a point where I was like, am I rooting for the bad guy? Am I hoping that he pulls this off? Like, I was here for it. It was well done. Chef's kiss, would not change a thing.
Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement with this show that they're like the attention to detail, the like you said, the costume, the settings, just the way the city looked in these different scenes, and how they portrayed Gotham. And because Gotham has always kind of been like, we know it's a crime-filled city,
right?
But they didn't. I think the series Gotham that used to come on, they kind of gave you a little bit more of an in-depth look into Gotham. But like the way that they did the layouts, the way that they showed the city, the way that they basically addressed a city that has just been destroyed and blown up, and how the people are
blowing up. Continue.
It's over there blowing up.
I can still be in on the convo, but I ain't gonna do no video. Just don't listen for any weird noises.
Wash your hands.
You know?
White Castle,
Yeah,
as he enjoys some White Castle, right in my face. Yeah, thank you Vince, for that.
Hey man, hey,
thank you so
I'm
much.
human,
But,
man.
yeah, man, I'm not mad at that. But I just think it's really important that we appreciate what is going on with Penguin, because I think the more that directors and the people behind the scene see that we give them their appreciation, I hope that it kind of drives them to continue these marvelous works. I don't know of too many series where you can have such great acting, where you are put in a situation where you want to give two of the same actors the same awards. I want to give Colin Farrell and what is Sophia's character, her real name? What is her real name? We need to know that. That is an absolute thing that we definitely need to know. But I would dare say it is a toss up. No, but this is one of those things where I would dare say that Colin Farrell and this young lady could both win Best Actor in the same same. Yeah,
I don't know. It's Italian.
Milani. Okay, so she fits the mold. So my thing is, what I saw from her was exceptional acting. Like every time Sophia touched the screen, she owned the screen. She lit up the screen. It was everything. Like her emotions and how she wore her emotions was epic. And I'm just like, man, I cannot say enough about how good this show was, man. And more importantly, to see the levels in which they went to show us, the psyche of a penguin, where at moments you actually felt bad for him. There were moments where you felt bad for this sociopath, this psychopath. I dare say psychopath. There were moments where you really were like, dang, I feel
what moments?
The moments where the interactions with him and Vic were where Vince, I mean not Vince, but where Vic, in particular, where Vic said, "You're like a I know everybody. I know everybody thought he was gonna say father, but when he said you're like family, yeah, and that like I was like, oh man, yo, like yo, you ride for this dude, and he's always and from the jump, all he did, if you think about it, was he gave Victor confidence. He instilled confidence in Victor. From the very beginning of this series, Victor was a very timid individual, not sure of himself, still trying to find his place in the world. And when he came in contact with Oz made him believe in himself. He challenged him to be better and more than what he thought he might be. And you watch that development all the way up until his very demise.
I have a different take on that.
Well, I'd love to hear it because
because I mean he turned Victor into a scumbag. I mean Victor was living desperately, off of thievery because of what happened with the flood. And what he did was he basically told him, "Look, you have this way." And this is going to make you successful. Remember me? I always try to sell him on him and his success and growing up and how he had to follow some dude who he looked up to, and then it ended up doing nothing but making him an underboss that didn't even make it all the way through the freaking season. So, I mean, Victor was given that choice at the time when he was sitting there trying to like decide whether to go with his girl on the bus or whatever. And once he
Mm,
made that decision, he was like, "Yo, you're a scumbag now." You know what I'm saying? Like you're on that side of the lot. And so you know how that works, man. It's like either when you live in that world, you gonna, live by the sword, die by the sword. And yo, to work for somebody like Penguin, hold on, let me go ahead and get myself set back up. So I don't know. Yeah, he made him better, but better at what? You know what I'm saying? Like, was it really worth it? I wonder what his life would have been like if he had left with his girl. He could have got a job somewhere. I don't know if this life, just because it's presented to us in the form of the main character, is the one that he should be leading. I mean, his family seemed. Remember what his dad was saying? Like, man, we work hard. People are like, oh, we got to work hard. And so, yeah, he gave him his confidence and made him stick his chest out. But at the end, was it worth it? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I think I don't agree with you there, because what you have to also understand is this is something that Victor already wanted. Victor already wanted this life, the better life that he thought that he deserved and should have. And they showed that from the scene with his father when he came in the house and he was like, "Dad, yo, you should tell him to pay you more. You're working for, he's taking advantage of you." And his dad was like, "We got enough." And he was like, "Nah." Like, "Nah, we don't." Like this, like that's not where Victor always had this in him. The whole scene of him choosing not to get on that bus was basically acknowledging that what Oz was offering him was always what he wanted anyway. So when you see Victor, the reason I said he made Victor better and more confident is not because of the scenes where you see Oz directing him. It's for the scenes when you didn't see Oz directing him that he made his own decisions. Victor made a decision to stand up and to all of uh the the partners, so called, you could say, of the Penguin in that moment where he was like, "Yo, what are y'all doing? Like, nah, like Oz gave y'all this. This is a da, da, da." You know what I'm saying? Like he also made the decision at the end to trust Link, and they could have died over that. But Victor made a conscious decision in that moment. He could have ran inside the building. He could have said, "Hey, Oz, I just got off the phone with Link, and they want to meet up." He could have did that. He could have ran in the building and did it.
All,
And the
all
old
I'm
version of
saying,
him, no, but let me finish. The old version of Victor would have went and ran in the building and asked Oz what should he do. The new version of Victor made a decision on his own. What you saw was the growth of Victor as a human being. Yeah, you're calling him a scumbag, but what really made Victor a scumbag in your eyes? The fact that he had loyalty, the fact that he was a good friend and a good support thing, because he literally stayed with Oz's mom and protected her. He literally went back to the city in which he came from and was like more adamant about getting the stuff. Remember what he told, one of the things that stood out to Victor. This is what stood out to Victor. Victor said, "You're the one who got the lights cut on in Crown Point. You're like a hero. Like you're like a hero to the people. Like
yeah,
this is not about, like, this story wasn't about the big guy. This story was about the little
mhm,
guy. The little guy who finally is fed up with taking is more uh uh tired of taking all of the stuff to the face, and starts to be more than just the guy that they always told you weren't. And that's what I saw from the development of Victor with the relationship in regards to the relationship he had with Oz. So you see a huge shift from this timid, shy thief in the night who's trying to steal rims and stuff off of cars and whatever, that type of stuff, to this individual that is making his own way. And that was what Oz instilled in him. You don't have to be what they say you have to be. You can be whatever you want to be. You just have to choose to do so. And that was what I saw, the relationship between Oz and Victor. It's sad that it turned out the way that it turned out. But
let's
Victor
go
had
there.
no idea. Yeah, Victor had no idea that was what it was going to be.
I mean, okay, we could definitely debate that from time to time. I mean, I still think that Victor had options, and yes, I love that he instilled in him confidence and gave him the ability to have courage and be more assertive. But there's also, I mean, it's like he was given the fork in the road, the thug way and the college way, and he went the thug way. And I'm just wrestling with whether or not, you know what I'm saying, whether or not that was the right decision or not. But it does make for good content. And of course, in the end, we know what happens. Now, once again, spoiler alert for those who don't know, ain't been watching, man, this is crazy. We go ahead and let you know that the last scene was something that I think is going to be talked about for a while. And then, honestly, I'm going to keep it real with you, Ty. The last scene wasn't even necessary. The show was so good up to that point. Like, they didn't even have to do it, but it made it even better, right? Like, it just made it took it to another level. Like, you're like, oh, this happened. Oh, okay, all right. And then it was like, yo, what? You know, and so let me just go ahead and just give my theory right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's dead. I do not. Or if he is dead, I don't think he's dead permanently. In other words, I don't think that we've seen the last of Victor Aguilar. I think that if anything, what we're going to see is a resurgence of Victor in season 2 or 3. I wouldn't put it beyond them to leave Victor dead the entire season 2, and then at the last minute, right there in that season finale of season 2, show some sign that he did survive or he was revived and he's coming back. And then season 3 will be Victor coming home for the chickens to roost against Penguin, because you made me what I am. I know who you are. And I can be your biggest nemesis, because how dare you after everything I did for you? And he also, remember, Victor was the plug for I can't remember his name. Link.
Yeah.
Victor was the one that was the one giving these speeches. I mean, Penguin obviously does his thing too, but Victor doesn't have any dirt like on him like Penguin does. So Victor, I believe, could, if he wanted to, if he came back, develop that same type of relationship with those underbosses and those underlings, especially after being one. He could turn on him and go with Sophia. There's so many lanes for a returning Victor to go. So I just don't think that we've seen the last of Victor Aguilar, and it just doesn't. It just does not feel like the end for me. Am I alone in that thought, Ty?
We talked about this, and at first I would say no, you're not alone with that. But then I thought about it, right? And I have an alternate theory. My theory is that version of Victor is dead. And what I believe is after, and this is based on a scene that we also see in this that I'm sure we'll address, but I think that Penguin is so twisted psychologically that he will replace an individual in his life that he loves with another individual and make them play the part or the character of that individual. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get another version of Victor that he just makes them like, look, hey, you know, your name from now on is Victor. You know, like I'm like, like I can see him doing something like that where he's like, he's like, hey, my name's Tony. He's like, nah, your name's Victor. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, all right, I'm Victor. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the case may be, and you just it may just be like a moniker. Victor is more like a moniker that one wears. You know, like, but I do definitely believe that he choked the life out of Victor in that moment. And it just cemented the idea, you know, just in case you were one of those people that was still on the fence and was like, oh my God, I know he's so evil, but I still like him. Like, I don't know what it is about him. And then they're like, he killed Victor. I hate him. I fucking hate him. Like, that's what it was. I think
The,
that's what it was.
I think a good barometer once again of how I mean, because the shows that we watch, the ones that we recap, look, we don't only watch just the shows we talk about the shows that are popular and stuff, but like I think I know that a show is really popping when people that aren't into the comics are texting me and asking me questions and are telling me that they're watching shows. My brother, who's not really into comics like that, I mean, he appeases me. He said, "Oh, I
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
Marvel," but he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, fuck, you see the season finale? Penguin, yo, fuck Penguin, yo, that dirt mouth ass, slong nose fat brat." Like he was going in, like I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like he was angry, like he's like, "Yo, I can't believe they did that to my dog Victor." Like, yo, fuck you. Like he was really, I was like, "Yo, if any character in a show got you that upset, that's a good show." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think that it's a
I'm
let's
mad
not.
that you gave Woody a up north accent like he's from up north. Woody sounds
He
nothing like that.
he
He
definitely
sounds
don't sound
absolutely
like
nothing like
he
that.
definitely don't sound nothing like that. I'm so sorry, Woody, bro. You
Sorry,
don't
Woody.
sound. All right, let me. He texted with like, "Hey, bro, you seen you seen that penguin? You seen that penguin? You seen that penguin finale, bro?
That's more
God damn, bro.
That's more
Hey, bro, hey, that shit crazy, bro.
accurate.
But that shit
Way more
crazy.
accurate. It's way more
I
accurate.
love my brother, bro. I love my brother, man. Oh, that shit crazy, bro.
Shout
Hey,
out
that
to
nigga,
Woody,
fuck
man.
that
Shout out to
nigga
Woody.
penguin. Fuck that nigga, bro. Hey, that nigga, fuck that nigga, bro. Hey, for real, though, hey, fuck that nigga. I'm sorry. You gotta meet my brother, Nolly.
Yeah,
That's my
man.
dog.
Oh,
But
man.
anyway, yeah, we might have him on. He ain't well anyway. So all right, so not to leave this alone, but in addition to what's going on with Victor, which I still think he's gone. I mean, excuse me, I think he's not gone for life. I think we will see him again. I can almost bet on it, honestly. Um, he was too significant of a cast member to just be tossed aside. I'm sorry, like they gave this dude way too much depth, and it, it I just don't see it. But anyway, hold on. What's this? Antoine says about Palpatine. I don't normally do this, but Palpatine had that Palpatine right. Yo, good analogy, fam. But did you also see the other drops? Remember, I also mentioned that Sophia Falcone got a letter from Selena Kyle while she was in Arkham. Now, remember, if you watch the Batman movie, then you know Selena Kyle is actually the daughter of Carmine Falcone.
Yep.
So for them to now bring that into this fold, that means that Sophia and Catwoman will more than likely be meeting in any upcoming seasons if they're going to tease that type of thing at the end. Like that's a big deal, which means we may be seeing a Zoe Kravitz unless they switch out the Catwoman character and put somebody else in her place, which I hope they don't.
Why would they do that? Because they
did it with Carmine.
Carmine was because John Turturro didn't want to do the pink. Like John Turturro's come on an interview and basically said that he didn't want to do the Penguin series because there was a lot of abuse towards women, is what he said, and he doesn't prescribe to any roles. Yeah, this is what he said. This is quotable from him. He said that there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot. I know, right? There was a lot of I guess violence or whatever towards women, and he didn't prescribe to the writing and everything like that. So it, and I think what he's meaning is like the mental hospital scenes and stuff like that, where Sophia's getting attacked and yeah, so and that's all I could think of as far as like violence towards actual women in the thing. That was probably the only violence that I saw specifically aimed at women. So but that was why he said he stepped away from the project as far as being in the
do you buy that?
I mean, if he said it, one has to take one at their face value.
Not that he feels that way, but do you buy that there was like is
that
a valid point?
I mean, it's a valid point. Do I buy it coming from John Turturro, who's been in many mob movies?
Has he?
John Turturro? Turturro?
Yes. I don't know. I know him as Mr. Deeds. I know him from a lot of Adam Sandler movies, but I ain't
Yeah,
gonna lie.
John Turturro has not just been isolated to funny movies. Let's be very clear on that.
Okay, all right, all right.
But I mean, I don't have his IMDb right in front of me, but I can almost, yeah. You got it, Nolly?
He's been in, besides the Batman, the Big Lebowski,
Mhm.
the Transformers movies.
Of course. Oh, that was his best.
Let's see, Exodus, Gods and Kings, Romance and Cigarettes, Jungle Fever, The Taking of Pelham 123,
Mhm.
Clockers, which Hands of Stone. What else? Oh my
Yeah,
god,
man. I'm not
He was
nowhere
in
into the gangster.
Clockers. He was in Clockers, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, but
Which I'm
but
not
look,
right.
but look, whether he was or not, if that was it's totally his prerogative to play whatever role he wants to play in and be in
Of
whatever
course.
movie he wants to be in. And I'm not mad at it. But as
Yeah.
far as like Zoe goes, the
Mhm.
reason I said that they probably won't change the character is because, as far as I know, Zoe has signed on for the Batman 2 and all the other properties. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything to go against that theory that she's still going to be Catwoman. So that just leads me to believe that she'll probably stay in the role. And I think I saw an article that says that the Penguin is due to be in the next Batman movie as well.
Well, I
So
mean, it would only make sense.
yeah,
So I mean, I'm skeptical about what happens with Zoe. I mean, she seems to be real. I don't know. She seems to be. I don't know if she's open to doing, like just the show or whatever. I think that there are some stuff, some things going on in the Batman, well, in the acting universe where some things are above you, some things are beneath you, and I just don't know. Just like for instance, another one of the things that we saw in this finale is the fact that they hinted at Batman. I mean, they showed Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like they showed the bat signal, which is, I mean, how could you not, you know, think of that as a precursor to them bringing the Pattinson into the fold? And they don't even have to bring in like actual Robert Pattinson. They could just have an image of Batman. He could just be a figure in the background. He doesn't even have to show up. He could just be an issue, that they have to deal with. So I foresee them using the whole Batman angle as a storyline, but not as a main plot. Like we're not going to see the next season is him versus Batman. I can tell you right now what the next season is going to be, and I'm pretty
what's that?
confident in it. I don't have any inside information or anything,
What's that?
obviously, but the next season is going to be Oswald Cobblepot, which I think they changed his name to Cobb instead of Cobblepot, which that's interesting, but a whole other thing. It's going to be him merging himself with Gotham politics, and it's going to be him looking to become, say, the mayor or somebody of high stature with regard to political power in Gotham. I can almost guarantee it. The references to Bella Real, him being in the courtroom having that talk with the politician, it all points to him having some sort of future in politics that and when we've seen that before. I mean, that's one reason he wears the top hat. Even in the original Batman Returns, they showed him running for mayor, and he won.
Danny
You know
DeVito.
what I'm saying? And here's the part that I think I told you about this time. The thing that they're going to do that's going to make it interesting is they're going to make it kind of parallel to modern day American politics. They're going to give Penguin the ability to speak the truth, just like he did with the dude. Like, yo, your power was off. Did they care about you? You know what I'm saying? It's us against them. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to, and then he's going to talk trash. He's going to use his bully pulpit. And it's going to be one of those things where even as a scumbag, he wins the heart of the people in Gotham. And that's going to be one of the. So I can't wait for that. Like that's what it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as much Victor, Sophia. I don't think it's going to be as much Selena, anything like that. It's going to be a lot of that. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm with you, but I think that the part that you kind of left out is maybe it's not so much Batman eccentric as it is Bruce Wayne eccentric. I think that what'll happen is if once he starts rubbing elbows with the politicians, you're more or less rubbing elbows with high society. And so once she starts rubbing elbows with high society, in comes Bruce Wayne into the fold. Because let's be very clear, this is the version of Bruce Wayne in the Batman that is just now becoming a vigilante. Like, this is not the version of Batman who's already studied all of these different arts, already come into the League of Assassins, already done. This is not that version. This is the version who I don't even think he has Lucius at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because he just has
some version of Lucius, right? There's a black dude in it.
No. I don't think he has Lucius yet. I think there was Lucius, an introduction to Lucius in the Batman. Like, there's a version of him, but I don't think he necessarily works for Bruce Wayne yet, is what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't work for Wayne Corp.
Works for Wayne Enterprises.
Wayne, I mean, like, but as the person who's doing the devices and stuff. The reason I say that is because if you look in the original the Batman, his trinkets and his gadgets are very basic. Like, his stuff is very extremely basic at this point. Like, so he doesn't have all of the cool stuff on his utility belt and everything like that at this point. So what I'm saying is, like, you're seeing a a Home Depot version of Batman in the Batman, and once Lucius comes into the fold, then you start getting the cool tech and all of this. Oh, I gotta, like this.
Did you say Home Depot version?
Yeah. It's like I can do it myself. Do it myself, Batman.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
Batman.
I would be very shocked if we get anything other than references to Batman in the Penguin, because I don't think that they'd want to spend big blockbuster movie budget on small screen projects. So I don't think that the Pattinson's gonna ask for a whole shitload of money just to appear in one small scene of the Penguin. Heck yeah.
I mean,
like, they have to,
if they can afford Colin Farrell.
Yeah, but this is different because Colin Farrell is the star of this, right? That's how you sell him on being in this. You're the star. When you're not the star, you're Pattinson, you're just doing a cameo in somebody's show that's based on your character. I don't know, man.
I feel like when you sign up for comic projects, you have to understand that they're building a cinematic universe, so there'll be other projects besides just your main movie. I feel like these are things you need to take into consideration.
Absolutely.
But maybe I'm illogical.
No, Nolly, you're on to something there. No, you're on to something, Nolly, because again, this would be different, Vince, if this was a different property altogether. But this is all ran by the same director with the same kind of thought process of building this whole entire universe in its entirety. And I think that Pattinson, Robert Pattinson, first of all, and I take exception to the little series comment that you made about Penguin. This is far from a this is far. No. But I'm just correcting you, because in instances there are certain series that you could call little series because it's a series and it doesn't hold a flame to a cinematic movie. It doesn't hold a flame to it. This is not that. This series is an epic quality and exceptional on its whole, on a scale of its own. So anybody that becomes a part of this property is probably elevated immediately to consideration for this type of award, that type of award. And from an acting standpoint, what do most actors talk about when they talk about why they accept a role? They accept a role because the writing, I got the script and the script was so good that it compelled me to take this role. Working with these other actors was a great experience. These are all things that would, if I'm Robert Pattinson and I know that my career is not necessarily where I would have liked it to be, but I do know that I have the potential to be, say, one of these actors that are deserving of this award, yeah, I'm signed in. And plus I think he's already signed in and up for whatever Matt Reeves is asking him to do at this point.
You run the risk of blunting the impact of the Penguin by overshadowing him with the Batman. If you give the Batman a main role in the Penguin series, he has to be a shadow role. It has to be somebody who's spoken of but not seen, somebody who's thought of but not spoken to. If you start making Batman a main character in the Penguin, Batman becomes the main character of Penguin, whether he likes it or not. They have to do it in a manner that if they do show him the once or twice they do, it will be such a significant scene. It will be a huge payoff. It won't be just some insignificant, we're going to plug you in the script here and there just to keep the story along. It has to be the same way they did in this episode, and they showed it. They could have riddled Batman's name all through this season, but they didn't because they know that that is high stakes mentioning. And at the very end, they drop that reference because they know you have to use Batman as a teaser and not as a character in these series. It's a very fine line they have to walk, and they did it perfectly. Like you don't want to build your series on the big main character. You want to make your smaller characters the big main characters, and you can't do that when you put them both in the same room.
No, and like I said, I agree there, and that's why I said what I think you wind up doing is you introduce Bruce Wayne. There's a difference between the Batman and having Bruce Wayne in a series as opposed to the Batman. And which is why I think that they're doing it perfectly, because what they're doing is they're bringing the Penguin into the Batman movies. And what I'm saying is on the Penguin side of it, you bring in Bruce Wayne. You bring in all of the things that go along with the city life and the business aspect of what Gotham does, which is this is a functioning city with Bruce Wayne as one of the donors to all of the things that happen within Gotham. So Bruce Wayne has hospitals, and Bruce Wayne does children's homes, and because we already know that that's the case based on the Batman movie. He funds the rebuild of Gotham after it was destroyed by the Riddler. So there's a lot of this that I see that they're building up for, to kind of conform the universe in a way where it all kind of goes together. So yes, I think they're gonna bring Batman in and showcase him in the Penguin? No. Do I think he will be the Dark Knight and the shadowy version of Batman that has been spoken about in comic books and through the criminal aspect of Gotham, where they're like, oh, they like he becomes more of a urban legend. Like they talk about they
Yes.
hinted at that in the thing, and I think that'll be the same thing that they
Yes.
do within the Penguin version. I'm talking about the Bruce Wayne aspect, which I think bodes well to do in a series rather than on screen, because if I'm being honest, it becomes boring on like in a movie when you start talking more about Bruce Wayne than you do the Batman. Like it just becomes like it just kind of gets boring.
The way you do it is you have, because I think Bella Royale is going to be a big part of season 2, and the way you do it is you have Batman, or in this case Bruce Wayne, like you said, uh, funding Bella Royale in a campaign against the Penguin for mayor. And that's how you can interject the Batman character without making him a huge. And I agree with you as well. Like we'll probably get some banter about, oh, the Penguin, some dude dropped us and took us, and beat us up. And it's like, what? Who did what? Like and like kind of introducing the concept of Batman, being the the back alley, bully, but not being the main focus of it. I think that it'll be a mistake for them to try to like shift focus to make it a Batman versus Penguin type of thing. It's just got to be Batman's rise to Gotham. Like I noticed at the end, I thought that they were going to put the top hat on him, but you notice he had it, but he didn't put it on himself,
Mm-mm.
which I think as subtle as the move that is, and you might be like, oh, it's not that big a deal. No, I think him having the outfit was one thing, but they didn't show us with him in the top hat for a reason. Why? Because he's still rising. He's not there yet. You know, he might have the penthouse, he might have the money, he might have all of that, but there's still more places for him to go. We're not going to see him in that top hat and that monocle until he's hit the top of that mountain that he's trying to climb right now. So I
I
don't
think
know,
it'll
man.
be representative of how he how he prepares to go out in public. I think how he wants the public to see him. Like that whole scene of the like it's more like you if you unwrap that scene, like right, we have to unwrap, we have to go back to the 2 episodes when he's sitting down on the couch with his mom watching his favorite show, by the way, that his mom says you always pick this show, and it's a bunch of men dancing, singing with top hats and suits on, and I don't know what the actor who was there. I wanted to say Bing Crosby, but I'm not sure if that's who that was. But either way, this was the reason that was important is because, huh?
I'm sorry, the comment messed me up. He said, Dio said something about a Batman 3. There's a 3?
So,
What about
so the reason why I don't think we're getting a season 2 is because the showrunner said the only way she would do a season 2 is if they could top season 1. And she doesn't feel like there's room to do that. She feels like there's room to build upon Gotham and focus on someone else, but not to top the Penguin 2, because there's already plans for Colin Farrell to be Oz in Batman 2 and 3.
All right, that makes and that makes me, oh man. You know what? That's even more, because like what that tells me is this was intended to do one thing, and that was introduce the world to the Penguin, and that is fine. I'm okay with that, because if that's the case, that makes me super happy about all the other villains that they may do this stuff for. So I'm over here like this, really. But more importantly, like what I was saying was, when you go back to the scene where Oz is a little boy and he makes these promises to his mom, and he says, "Ma, yo, I'm gonna get you whatever you want. I'm gonna make your life better." She was like, "Well, better is not that much from where we coming from." "Well, I'll get you the best. I'll put you in a penthouse and da 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 on the top, and you could overlook the city and da da da." These were the things that he did in that moment. That moment was important because this is what he promised his mother. Then right after you see that, you see him walk in there to his mother, who's in the hospital bed, pretty much in vegetative state. And this was what he promised his mom. That suit is indicative of how he wanted to look when his mom, because in essence, his mom should have been fully awake in that moment, but she wasn't. But that doesn't stop the moment still happening. So he's dressed up in his finest threads, which are the threads that he liked from his favorite movie. He's in that room in the penthouse that he promised her he would put her overlooking the city, and he was like, "Look, Ma, I did it. I know I hope you're proud of me," and da da da, and so on and so forth. And then right after that, oh my God, they dropped another one after, when you thought it couldn't get any better. They show you why he's been so close to that lady this entire series. We're over here like this is his girl. Yo, he loves her. Yo, she was who she was. She was a high price. She was a high-end escort that was playing a role that he intended for her to play all this whole time. Little did we know that she was basically fulfilling a fetish that he has for his mom. He has a fetish. Yes.
You think he has the Oedipus complex?
Bro, she was wearing his mother's dress The dress that his mother wore the night that she took him out to
Yeah.
the club. And he said, tell me you're proud of me, Ma. Oh, I'm so proud of
Oh,
you, my
yeah.
boy. He was talking to her like it was his mother.
Yeah.
Like, yo, and I said this last week, that he looked at his mom not like a son would look at his mom, but like a boyfriend, girlfriend type deal. And
Yeah.
and this is what it was. He was always in love with his mom. He didn't love his mom. He was in love with his mom. So that's why he killed his brothers like a jealous lover. That's what he did. He killed his brothers out of jealousy because she showed them love and he wanted it all to himself. Yes, this was all kind of culminating to show you the depths of this man's psychosis, man. This nigga is crazy. And he's in love with his mom. He's crazy. Yo, all of that stuff, bro. Like when it all kind of came full circle, I was like, wow. So now, cause why didn't he kill her? And then you find out he didn't kill her because she is, in his eyes, is his mother. She's the version of his mother that he can screw and do whatever, and she's not his actual mom, but he wants her to play his mom. Yeah,
Wow.
it's weird.
Yo, just a quick cinematic bit of genius. I don't know if you peeped the tear dropped from her eye. I think like right after he said, "I got you everything you wanted." That's why I said it's Oedipus complex. When you have a fantasy, like when you want to be with your mom,
mother,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole Greek with with Oedipus.
Yeah.
He found out that he slept with his mom and he went and gouged his eyes out. So with this, I feel like when it was, oh my God, it was so brilliant. Like the whole season, mom is like, "Yo, you gotta get me. I want this. I want that. You gotta get me this and that." He's like, "I'm gonna get it for you, mom. I promise. I promise." And he did fulfill his promise, but the cost, you have to be in a vegetative state, which is, and I'm not gonna, let you go, even though that's what I promised you, because that's who he is, man. So it is, this ride with, and what do we think about? Because there's so many things that are left unanswered, right? One of the things, like at first, and it's kind of shocking that Nolly says that, oh boy, the doctor could be the scarecrow, which I didn't see that. I thought that he was going to change into Doctor Strange, the Hugo Strange, because Dr. Hugo Strange works at the Arkham Asylum or whatever. So I figured that, he might end up being one of these dudes who does experiments on them in the basement and stuff, because he's already going down that road. But his name isn't Hugo Strange, so it doesn't make any sense. So that does kind of have some sort of that does have, but the last remaining Falcon has already basically started to express some issue with Sophia. Remember the young girl that she didn't kill?
Yes, her niece.
And now she started that whole little cycle again, and now that, so that's an unanswered question that I don't know, maybe a Sophia type of season. Who knows, man? But I don't know if I'm really liking the idea of there not being a season 2. I get putting them in the second movie, but I think that once the demand comes out, if they can figure out a way to write it, maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will.
It might be. I feel like it would be unnecessary if the whole thing is that we wanted to build up this character and have enough drive and focus behind this character that people will be interested in him. I think you did what you set out to do. Yo, like I said before, nobody, including anybody on this panel, was out here like screaming for a Penguin origin story. Nobody, like not a nan. And so the fact that we've gotten a penguin story at this point, and it was so good that what viewers are looking for is what new characters can you also do this with and make me feel invested within. We already have seen articles that have said that they could possibly be doing something with Victor Freeze and that storyline, and there's other characters. There's Clayface, there's Bane, there's different characters that you can do
I mean,
storyline.
Scarecrow, yeah.
Poison Ivy. There's so
Yeah.
many.
Ooh,
Different
good point.
characters
Good point.
within the and more importantly, Selena Kyle. Like we even though she's also was represented and presented in the Batman
Right.
movie. She can also get an origin story because in the Batman movie she did leave, and we can see whatever is going on with her, in a series or whatnot, if that's what they choose to go with it. But well, there's one more thing that I think that you alluded to, but I thought you were going to say something about it, but you didn't. The reason
Okay.
that tear was so important from his mom is because the tear wasn't for happiness that she
Right.
finally got. The tear was because his mother in the episode prior begged her son, if I ever get to this
Yes. To
point
kill him.
where
Yep.
I don't want to be like those in the vegetative state. I don't want people having to take care of me and change me and all of that. I want you to kill me. Promise me, Oswald, that if I ever get to that point, you'll do it. I promise you, Ma. I promise you. And then
Ma.
instead of you holding up the promise that you promised your mother, you're so selfish that you're gonna keep her alive, knowing that this was her last wish from you. And
Yo.
that's where the sadness comes from. The sadness comes from I don't want to even be like this, and you're making me be here against my will. And after all the things, I just want to be with my sons. I just want to die and be with my
Mhm.
sons. And I'm not even allowed to have peace because you're such a psycho that you want to hold me and hold me hostage in this life. And that's in essence why the tear had such significance, is because she's sad. Like she doesn't want to be here. And this man is making her be there. So yeah, man, again, man, I will be I don't know if I could find a better written series than this, and it'll be hard pressed. I'll be hard pressed to find where a series where every box is checked. And
Mm.
this is that for me. So
Well, I don't think we're done talking about Penguin. I mean, we'll move on for a little bit because there's so many other things to talk about. But
mhm.
man, this series is going to be unpacked for a while, and it's yeah, you're right. Like in terms of writing, it definitely ups the ante. So, I mean, look, as I've said many occasions, yo, Marvel is on notice, and if they don't get their stuff together, like DC's right there knocking with good content. I mean, this is the second well-produced show that we've seen out of the DC
Show.
universe. Just yeah, show. Yeah, well, the
We
other
have
one
yet to
Was
see a good
Peacemaker.
movie yet.
Well, I didn't like the Batman as much, but a
I
lot of
did.
people did.
I
So
did.
some people will argue, yeah, some people will argue that we have seen a good movie. I, still was a little like, where the gadgets were, I don't want to see all that.
The great
But I
value.
get it.
It wasn't that Nolly's version, but then Nolly called
Yeah,
him the
great.
great value Batman. But
Yeah.
I think that's if people really just step back and understand what Matt Reeves is trying to do, which is not give you the same version of Batman that everybody's used to, but develop Batman into what everybody's used to. Is which is far from what we've seen on the big screen. Like most of the times whenever we've seen, matter of fact, all of the times that we've seen Batman on the big screen, he's already got his gadgets. He's already got everything. Like this is post, so this is pre.
Not in Batman Begins. He started working with Lucius in Batman Begins. He started off as a train, like he went through the whole training process with they called it the shadow of whatever, when he was working with Raja Ghul, you know what I'm saying? So he kind of, that was the beginning state. So we've seen that origin story. I mean, the Michael Keaton one didn't. That one came complete with
Yeah,
gadgets. Like we didn't get
yeah,
an origin story there.
I guess you're right.
Um,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
so
But
yeah, but last thing I'll say about the Penguin is the costumery that we saw is one of the main elements that brought this the success it did. If they kill this series and try to duplicate this with somebody else, use the same formula, be like, okay, we're gonna do it with Mr. Freeze, or we're gonna do it with Clayface. Like without that element, I wonder if it'll have the same success. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a huge factor that generated a lot of interest. Like, yo, that's Colin Farrell. Are you serious? If
Mhm.
they don't have that element, I just wonder if the formula will still work. You know what I'm saying? So I would
Mhm.
just caution DC to be careful. You found something that works, and I'm not saying, I mean, because it's giving. Oh, sorry, you lost half a second. Looks like it's giving like Lovecraft Country a little bit, where we get the first season and then they're like, or the other DC show that was really good, The Watchmen. You know what I mean? And just this notion that they're only one season shows, I don't know, man. It's just a little disconcerting, Ollie. So hopefully we get a little better than that. But enough about Penguin. We've talked enough about Penguin. So let's get into a couple other things. And I ain't gonna lie, Nolly, I want your opinion on this specifically, because this is something that I think I have an unpopular take on, and maybe you can hear me out. Maybe it's not necessary. We'll see. So, as you know, as of late, there have been a lot of talks about MCU characters and what's going to happen, who with this, that, and the third. But what I think I found one of the most interesting was this announcement that Denzel, or as he calls himself, Denzel, I guess we should call him that too. Um, says Ryan Coogler wants him for Black Panther 3. I'm like, all right, Black Panther 3. And then we get the confirmation. Evidently, Denzel says that he will star in Black Panther 3. Now, I ain't gonna lie, Nally. I love Denzel. I love him. Dude is the elite actor of our generation. Like, let's just start with that. Like, there's point blank period. There's full stop. But I have some reservations about him joining the Marvel movies now. And I don't think I can understand why. I think for me, the whole time he was not doing these movies and these shows and these different projects, it felt like he was one of those dudes who was holding out because it was beneath him. The Leo DiCaprios of the world, the Brad Pitts, the folks who are like, nah, I ain't really trying to be in those kind of movies, because those movies, they are, because you remember, like, what's his name? What's the dude that made all of those gangster movies? Uh you know what I'm talking about, man. Scorsese.
Scorsese,
What's his name? Scorsese.
Scorsese,
Scorsese.
Martin
He keep
Scorsese.
he keeps talking. He keeps talking about how the movies ain't really real. I think that there's people that really feel that way, and I thought that Denzel was in that mind frame. And so it feels to me less like, yo, this is dope, I've been waiting to do this project, and more like, yo, I'm getting older, I'm running out of work, and I just hope that that's not the case. And another thing, if I'm speaking frankly, Nolly, what role is Denzel going to play in Black Panther 3? Is he going to be Wakandan? Because one thing Denzel does not do is accents.
It's an accent. You're right.
He, he just did Gladiator, and he sounded like he was in Brooklyn. It's like, yeah, so what we going to do with all of these Athens, these Greeks? I mean, what we going to do? Huh? You don't think we're going to war? Oh, like, it's just difficult. Like, they would have to make they would have to make him something else, right? Like, he has to be American in Black Panther 3. Yeah, he can't be Wakandan, and that's fine. I would be cool with them coming to America or somewhere else. But it shows the great Denzel Washington, whom I love. It exploits a little bit his limitations to an extent. And I'm just a little nervous. Now, I know he's capable, but I'm just a little nervous because I believe that he has not been in these movies for a reason. What say you, Nali?
He's said in interviews, it's not that he didn't want to do the movies, it's that no one ever approached him. Like, not everybody wants to go up to someone and say, hey, I heard you doing this thing, can I be in it? Like, nobody wants to seem thirsty, especially as a well-established Black man in Hollywood. Like, the last thing you want to do is appear thirsty for something. So he's always said that Marvel and DC have never approached him for anything. The only person who approached him was Ryan Coogler, who offered to write him a part for Black Panther
Oh,
3.
Well, that's wise. I think it's smart for Black Panther, for Ryan Coogler to have Denzel. He needs more star power, especially after losing Angela Bassett in the last movie. So I'm all for that. But Denzel, man, yo, I'm looking forward to him. But my man can throw some shade every now and then. He did a little funny little quick interview, I think, right here with Pedro Pascal that I thought
Mm.
I thought was kind
He
of interesting. Go ahead, go ahead.
in terms of like Gladiator, like because he's done movies where he's had a slight accent and things like that. But he has always said that he would never act with a British accent. And
Hmm.
he said in regards to Gladiator 2 that he did not want to, one, offend anyone, and two, be historically inaccurate with the kind of British accent that they required.
Hmm. Okay.
So I
But
think that's why in Gladiator he just, and you know, when you're Denzel, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So
yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a little noticeable though for me. Um,
yeah,
so I just wonder how I mean, and again, this is not to knock him. I mean, nobody has done more, in my opinion, for Black Hollywood than Denzel. He's raised the bar. But I thought this thing was interesting too. Let's take a listen to what he's talking about here.
Good man, great actor, good. I would call him a friend, but what we doing next?
What do you mean, man?
Well, I'm saying it's not like we have tea. And
I'm waiting in the wings. I'll have tea with you anytime.
You know what? That's a promise. You come to LA, come up to the house.
100%.
God bless you. Good man,
Yo.
great actor, good. I would call him a friend, but
Yo, should Pedro feel any ways about that? Was that shady or was it just honest? I mean, he was being
That was
honest. It
he was
was-
that
just
was blatant
honest.
honesty. That's blatant honesty, man. A lot of times people can't handle that, the truth.
But it hurt.
Man,
Pedro was hurt. Like he was like, "Are you serious?" You know, like in Hollywood, they just throw the word "friend" around like it's nothing. And Denzel clearly is keeping the traditional definition of friend intact. You like, I'm not gonna call him a friend. I mean, you know, we work together. You know what I'm saying? But you
Yeah.
know, let's work on it. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was very organic, man. I'm gonna hear that one more time.
what we doing next?
What do you mean, man?
Well, I'm saying it's not like we have tea. And
I'm waiting in the wings. I'll have tea with you anytime.
You know what?
Me,
That's
man.
a promise. You come to LA, come up to the house.
100%.
God bless you. Good man,
What-
great
what-
actor,
what-
good. I would call him a friend, but what we doing next?
What do you mean, man?
Well, I'm saying it's not like we have tea. And
I'm waiting in the wings.
Hey yo, hey, wasn't me? Wasn't me? Because when I first heard this interview, I thought he was gonna be like, "What you mean, nigga?"
Oh, nah,
What do you mean, man?
He's
man,
like,
Pedro,
you had to
Pedro
remember
knows
his
darn
name. Like,
well.
nigga, we just smoking blunts in the back of the trailer. Like, what the fuck is that? Nah.
Yo, that was shady as hell. I love it though, yo.
Oh, man.
I
That
love
was not
shady
shady.
Denzel.
That was not shady, bro. That was honesty.
You
That-
didn't have to say that.
Nah. And you know this, and you know me. So that touches that for me. That's perfect because I love blatant honesty.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah,
Like,
you
so,
definitely.
So like for me, I didn't feel no kind of way because I mean the truth is the truth. I mean people don't like to hear it sometimes. It feels like you're throwing shade when you're really not. I mean if I'm just saying I'm just saying facts, then how am I throwing shade? But
I love it.
you know it was funny to see the interaction and the real life the real time reaction from Pedro like.
Pedro.
You said that? You like really said that? Like I know that he's like, man.
Like
I don't gotta know all that.
Pedro wanted to be Denzel's friend so bad. Like in that moment, he was like, "Oh, damn it, I was this close." But I love the organic, and I hope they actually did have that tea. And what I also hope is
They're
that
not
with
having
this
no tea.
movie, man, I hope they do something, man.
They're
You
not
know,
having no tea, bro.
listen,
Like
I
this
would-
is Hollywood
yo, I know-
talk. That's
yo,
Hollywood
what-
talk. Come
yo,
to the
this-
house for tea. Like yo,
It's definitely Hollywood talk, but Denzel, we just learned that he don't bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
nah,
he
that's
said,
not
like,
what
nah,
we.
you got my
That's not
friend.
what we learned. We learned that he has moments where he's blatantly honest, and that was a blatant honesty moment. And look,
So is he
but look,
being blatantly lying when he says, "Come to my house for tea"?
nah. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example, right? So I could go to an event and be cordial with a whole bunch of people, and then in the event we're talking and I meet some people and they're like, "Yo, you should come out to the beach house. Yo, we do something at we do
Yeah.
something every week at the beach house or whatever." And it'd be like, "All right, yeah, that sounds good." and then and in that moment, they don't give you a number. They don't give you anything to correspond with them. You have to go and ask them, remind them, hey, yeah, can I get your number if you want to do it? People just are so used to being cordial and being nice in those moments that they just say stuff, and they don't necessarily mean it, like just because they say it. And so, like saying, yo, you should come up to the house for tea. Denzel knows that nigga ain't coming up to his house for no tea. He didn't, like it's all like that's what I liked about that moment was the fact that he acknowledged, like, yeah, we work together, but like we're not. I wouldn't call you a friend. Like a friend is somebody that, like, we hang out, we do stuff. So yeah, he's just being honest, and in that moment he saw that Pedro felt some type of way. So then he's like, oh man, come up to the house for tea. I would definitely come up to the house for tea. He's like, all right.
I believe Denzel when he says
I don't
that he's no, hold on. Let me say this. I believe that he means it when he says come to the house for tea. Do I think that it'll happen? Maybe not. But I think that he would honor his word right here. And Denzel the type of dude where Pedro be like, hey, remember that tea? He'd be like, oh yeah. And even if he don't want to do it, he'd be like, well, I did say it.
Okay,
so
that's different. But that's different. That's what you're alluding to is totally different than what I'm saying. Yeah. But I like you said, I think every actor, especially any actor that came before Denzel Washington, wants to be around Denzel Washington. Let's be very clear about it. Like you're hoping that he might drop some gems on you. You're hoping that you might be able to pick up on something, some acting. He might give you some critiques on your act. Yes. There's a lot of stuff because because he is renowned, and a lot of people look at him as one of the top tier. I stepped away for a minute, but I still 100%. Heard the conversation that you were having in regards to the Gladiator 2 movie, which I did see over the weekend. And I also watched that movie and was like, Denzel sounds like he's at home in Brooklyn right now. And I was like, yo, Lucas. And the idea, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I heard what the response was, that he said that he doesn't want to do these voices because he doesn't want to be historically inaccurate or anything like that. That bothers me. You know why it bothers me? Because he is also slated to play in the Hannibal movie. And I after seeing that Gladiator 2, and I don't know, maybe because you saw it as well, right?
I did not. I can't see it.
Okay,
I can't.
All right.
I need somebody to tell me that it's worth seeing, but
I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah,
I saw the movie, and if I'm being perfectly honest, this was probably one of Denzel's more poor performances. Primarily because you sound like you're from Brooklyn in ancient Rome. In ancient, you know what I'm saying? So that was like, I was like, I would have much rather you be historically inaccurate than just pulling up like, this is me, y'all take it or leave it. And that is indicative of acting. Acting is sometimes stepping outside of your comfort box and doing things that you're not comfortable doing. And for him to feel as though he doesn't have to because I'm Denzel, and because nobody's telling him he has to because he's Denzel, it didn't play well in the movie. So like, when I saw that and I was like, and he's supposed to be in a Hannibal movie, it gives me pause because I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I didn't like him as in the version that I saw him in. Even in the choreographed fight scene, I wasn't impressed. I was like, you look at, yeah, that's not. So if what I'm wondering what his plan is for the Hannibal movie, who you plan on playing in the Hannibal movie, because I hope to God it's not Hannibal.
It's not Hannibal. It's got to be Hannibal. It's got to be his father.
It's got to be his father, right? But even then, if you're not going to change up a little bit of your voice to sound like
think he
somewhat.
can, man. I
Well,
don't think he's
then that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes
yeah.
because like that is just. I mean, I wonder if we're still caught up on the allure of Denzel Washington from
Mm,
his early movies such as Malcolm X and
of
John
course.
Hughes and all of those
Yeah, yeah.
where he
Training
had
day.
epic where Training Day where he had epic roles, and we're because of those epic roles we hold him in this high regard as far as acting goes. But when I think of acting, I think of a multifaceted individual, someone who can play multiple roles and
Yeah.
do things, do justice to these roles, not just placate to the only thing that you know how to do. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's
Which is be me,
frankly
be myself, which is basically
that
be myself.
that's I mean, but what you just said about him being in a gladiator and not necessarily expanding his horizons with regard to his acting capabilities is one of the reasons why I'm so nervous about him being in the MCU in Wakanda. I would rather him. I heard he's going to play the voice of Dormammu. That sounds perfect. But if they put him in Black Panther 3, I am nervous about him playing a Wakandan. I'd much rather have him
Yeah, I
play
would
an
not.
American general or somebody like. But I hope that Ryan Coogler is. I don't want to say wise enough, but I hope he considers keeping Denzel in the lane that he wants to be in. I don't think that doing other accents is his comfort zone, and I think that you can be a great actor without having to do a bunch of accents. I think it showcases the talent of other actors that are able to. Like when
Mhm.
you sit and I'm sorry, it looks like I'm lagging right now. So sorry, guys. I'm at the
It's all
hotel
good. You're
doing the
fine.
best I can. But I, to watch what we just talked about for an hour with the
Um,
Penguin with Colin Farrell, who did an accent that he probably been working on since he was a kid. He probably was like watching like Bugsy Siegel movies and stuff like that, and like this is like his version of Sopranos. And for him to be able to do that and hold it down for the whole season, it speaks volumes of his capabilities. It doesn't take away from Denzel's, but it shows his limitations. And I just wish that for the bit of time that we have Denzel left, let's highlight his what it is that he's best at. Let's not put him in a movie where he's talking like he's in Harlem and he's in ancient Rome. It doesn't jive right. Let's not put him
Yeah,
in
it
Wakanda.
did it.
And I don't want to hear him sounding like he's, on 42nd and St. Nicholas, and he's actually somewhere in Wakanda with the vibranium. So that's why
And
I'm a
he
little
did
nervous.
Othello.
Also,
Didn't he do Othello?
but Othello is different because he used like no, that was Lawrence Fishburne.
Nah, I'm talking. He did a thing on Apple Plus. Whether it was maybe it wasn't Othello, but he did a um
Yeah,
uh
I think you're right. Hold on, I think you're right. Yeah,
hold up,
Valley.
was it Othello? It was something. It was something he just did not too long ago, like a year or two ago. And he had somewhat of
Yeah, it
an
was a different
accent.
accent in that.
It was somewhat of an accent, but if it wasn't Othello, it was. Oh man, Denzel, what did you just do, man?
It was Lawrence. Nolly, do you see the same thing on that?
Nah. This was
um,
like a year ago.
so he is playing Hannibal,
He's
um,
playing Hannibal.
right? But he's
Not bad.
done African accents before,
Well, Hannibal's not African.
And
right? But I'm saying that so relating to Wakanda, maybe not
You
a
think
Wakandan, but he could be like a villain.
what
when did he
African
get his African
accent?
accent?
Have you seen that movie Cry Freedom? It's old.
Yes,
Nah.
He
yes.
plays a South African activist,
Something.
something
Really?
to that effect. And I feel like given the years added since then, because I think he came out in like 87, he's probably had some practice. He could get a dialect coach. So I think he could pull off a great accent for a
If he wanted
villain or
to.
something in Black Panther 3. I think there's potential there.
I think
I don't know.
Dora Manu is a perfect character for him to play. A villain is definitely something that he
But
could add to his thing.
It's
I
just a
don't see
voice.
why.
in Black Panther,
Well,
like, I feel
Dora
like
Manu.
more
Well, why not? I mean, Dora Manu
Because
it
Dormammu was the villain in
was
Doctor
the
Strange
villain.
1.
Doctor Strange.
Well, he was also the villain in the animated
What if?
X-Men series went with
Oh,
no
right.
with Storm. Remember when Storm Dormammu was the one that was chasing her brother. Her brother was the speedster on the island. And remember that Dormammu had took over her brother's body in X-Men in the first season of X-Men. You don't remember that?
The first season of the original X-Men?
Like the cartoon, the animated.
Not 97, but the one
No,
before.
the original.
Yeah,
The
it's been
original.
a minute.
You don't
So
remember?
you went
You
back
don't
to
remember?
rewatch
Okay, yeah. There was the Shadow King, or the Shadow King, the Shadow King. That
it. Yeah.
Dormammu is the Shadow King. Is the same one. It was Dormammu.
Okay.
Dormammu, yeah, whatever, however you pronounce it. But that was the same individual. That was the same thing. But that was in Africa. That was so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to also have that individual show up in Wakanda if he was already in Africa. I mean, he is a entity in that way anyway.
There's
Go ahead, Nali.
because I hate when Marvel introduces villains and then they half-ass the story and then it's done by the movie's over. But there's a villain in Black Panther, Tetu, who's he's a shaman and a master of nature magic and co-leader of the people. They're violent revolutionaries. He's like anti-monarchist. He sees himself as like a hero freeing Wakanda from an unjust government, and I feel like that would fit like a Denzel vibe so well. But also, I really want to see him playing character where he's got like crazy ass CGI and like is doing like mystical magic and shit. Like, I feel like I need to see all of it. I don't want him to just be a voice.
And that movie that I was telling you about was The Tragedy of Macbeth. That came out in 2021. Macbeth. Yes. And he did change up his voice in that to kind of be to do the theater stuff.
Tomorrow. Show his petty face each day and day. But Nali, I think it would be a mistake for Black Panther 3 to be set in Wakanda. I think we've had that already. I think it's time we want to see Black Panther. We want to see Wakanda versus America, like Ty said a long time ago. We want I want Wakandan government versus the American government, and now is the right time. Like literally, it's perfect. And so I don't know.
Wasn't that part two though? Wasn't that part two?
I mean, there were portions of it with the Queen
part two.
There was like literally one scene. It was Wakanda versus Talaquan in
it was
part two. It was more.
No, it was not. It was in the very beginning of Wakanda 2. She's at the World Nations thing, and she's telling them, hey, we like listen, we're telling y'all, leave us, don't come over here trying to take our what is the vibranium. Yeah, don't be trying. Like, I'm telling you right now, if you do, you have a problem. And then right after she says that, a fucking elite squad, an elite squad of mercs pulls up to one of their joints and tries to steal the vibranium, and that was from another country. So they're literally at that point telling the world nations, including the United States, don't be coming in. But listen, she addressed the dude. They kicked out old boy. What was the dude? What was the? Remember, he got kicked out of Wakanda. Martin. Yeah, he got kicked out. He got kicked out. Yeah, they kicked out of everybody. They kicked everybody out of Wakanda. They was like, nah, I ain't even gonna be able to chill over here.
But here's the point, though. That was a small introduction to the conflict between, and it wasn't just America. She said that to everybody at the United Nations.
That's what I was
You know what I'm
saying.
saying? So yeah, but I'm talking about having a plot versus America specifically. You know what I'm saying?
Specifically,
Not like
I
against
don't
the
know.
entire United Nations.
I
Like I
I
want,
feel like
yeah,
that's too close to real life. And
yes,
I for one
I
am
need it.
exhausted with the black versus the American government shit. Like it's
Okay,
tiring. We live it every day. I want to go to a movie so I can escape.
the
okay.
reality.
I
You're
don't want
not
to
feeling
watch
that.
my life play out in the
But
theaters. You know
but
what I'm
do we
saying?
really? I don't. Well, if that's the case, fair enough, Nolly. And I mean, I'd still be fairly interested, especially if it's cast in a manner that's extremely fictitious.
Mm.
And I get wanting to escape reality, but wouldn't it be nice to see like the Wakandans prosper and have such a dope impact, like in a manner that I don't know. We could talk about it, and
Kind
I understand the exhaustion. I completely
kind
understand it,
of,
especially right now.
but I'm more interested in them rebuilding the mantle of Black Panther's relationship with who we have left in the MCU to then move forward into what's going to happen with the storyline thus far. Because I feel like Black Panther
Okay.
2, while it took place after, all the events after Infinity Saga and everything like that, it was very much a standalone and
Yeah.
didn't really tie too much into other stories besides Ironheart. And we're not getting Ironheart until later next year. So I want to see them immerse that mantle of Black Panther back into main storyline MCU so that we can see the role that gets played out. Like MCU has to heal. We don't, I would love more than anything to have more Wakanda based things and focus just on
Yeah.
Wakanda. But Wakanda is one country in the entire world. And there's so many things that Marvel hasn't addressed and like plot holes that we have to fill that I'm more interested in building a bridge to how Black Panther contributes to the future of the MCU.
And
If that makes sense.
Okay.
and
Because
to go
even
to,
sorry.
my bad. No, that's on me. That's me. Go.
Oh, because
Nolly.
even the animated Wakanda series is only 4 episodes. So
Mm.
like we're not even getting a lot of that. I'd rather continue to build the bridge. You can go ahead, Tom.
So you
I,
oh, go ahead, Tom. My bad. You did.
I was just gonna say that I'm totally on with what Nolly just said. I would like it to coincide. I would like since we ended the last Black Panther with the the information coming out that T'Challa had a son. I want to see where that go. What was the point of showing us that if it's not going to be rooted in the establishment of a younger Black Panther? Because the idea of having um what's her name
Shuri?
Shuri as Black
Sure.
Panther. Yeah, Shuri as Black Panther. I just because I've seen like the stuff that's going on with her. I don't know if that becomes problematic at some point. But I just want to. I think there is a lot of room for growth with the son being the storyline and like kind of
Right.
building that new the new version of, because that's a younger version of the Black Panther if he takes up the mantle of being Black Panther. And then you can kind of move on from the T'Challa Black Panther, and then kind of, incorporate this new version of Black Panther into the MCU. That I think is important. It is important because there are so many people that wanted to continue the T'Challa story and not so much the Black Panther story. And I think that everybody gets what they kind of want. In essence, you don't get T'Challa, obviously, but you're getting the Black Panther at its youngest version, and in a position to build
Yeah.
the story,
Do, do you all go ahead, Nolly?
I think as a community we have to acknowledge kind of like I personally feel like it was a mistake to not I think it's a mistake to not recast two people. Chadwick did an amazing job, but we could have recasted him, and we should recast Jonathan Majors. Like, I don't get
I
it.
agree with the Jonathan Majors, but I disagree with the Chadwick. I like
Big
the.
shoes to fill, huge shoes to fill.
I think that what that what's my man, the director, Coogler. I think Coogler's decision to not recast T'Challa, to basically make Wakanda Forever ode to the Chadwick character, and to bring him back into the fold to honor his legacy without it being tarnished at all is
Right.
ultimately going to pay off. I think it sucks and I understand for those who watch this and disagree completely. I want to say I completely understand. I get it. It would have made for a different movie, but it just, for me, it wouldn't have felt right just replacing Chadwick like that, as if it was just a dude who we just took out and just replaced him. I like the fact that it was like, nah, he will be our Black Panther. He is our Christopher
Forever.
Reeves. He is
Yeah.
our Michael Keaton.
100%.
We're not just going to take him out. So I think that this next movie, I like your idea of it being more of a developmental T'Challa story. And I think that we will get the new T'Challa, even though it will be Toussaint instead of being T'Challa that we know from the lineage. But at the same time, that adds new elements. Now you can put stuff in there that wasn't necessarily in the comics. Like, you can make it even better. So I like the idea that when we do next time see T'Challa, it will be honoring the original T'Challa instead of replacing the T'Challa. So I, again, reiterate, I completely get, like, there's some people that are adamant, and I think Anthony's one of them. Anthony's like, nah, man, they should have been recast this dude. And Anthony, when you come back on next week, man, maybe we could talk about it a little bit more. But I just think that this way was the best of both worlds. Yes, we had to sacrifice one movie, one theatrical production. We gave Shuri her shine, but come back strong in part 3, finish that trilogy, or even move further. And now you have done the movie service. You've allowed the preservation of the original Black Panther to remain in our minds for eternity. And there's nobody ever going to be able to say, like, yeah, I replaced Chadwick. No,
Right.
I took over for the character of Black Panther. And I frankly think that was the honorable and the better way.
And it's a mantle. And more importantly, listen, more importantly, and I think this is the part that a lot of people are, which to me it's just like, let it go. Black Panther is a mantle. So like, whether it's T'Challa, Toussaint, T'Chaka, whoever, it's a mantle. Shuri, the same thing goes with Captain America. We have to move on from certain characters. With Chris Evans, we're now in the realm of Falcon.
Sam Wilson.
Captain America, Sam Wilson, and Sam Wilson can pass the mantle of Captain America on to the next person.
Spider-Man,
like
to
this,
Miles
yes.
Morales.
Listen, I'm just mentioning all of those other individuals as examples, but none of them compare to what Chadwick Boseman was able to do with that character and that mantle. You're talking about, first of all, bringing an element to the character to where we felt proud. Me and Vince had conversations prior to the Black Panther movie about how we just want a Black superhero that we could be proud of, not a jokey Black superhero that we always seem to have gotten.
Not a meteor man.
Not a anti-hero like a Blade, even though I love Blade.
Not a Hancock.
Not any of those. We wanted a character that we could be proud of. And I'm going to tell you, man, as a fan of Chadwick Boseman's complete work, I could not have been more proud of going to 100%. That Black Panther movie and seeing this man represent that character in a way that brought immense respect to the character and to his role as the character. And then to find out later the investment that he made in the character. And when I say investment, I'm talking about his life that he invested in the character, which you cannot say for most characters. Like most characters did not literally die making films and making this character be the best that he could possibly be. Like, not telling a soul. That is stuff that you can't just dismiss. And I think a lot of people, and I blame this on social media, and I blame this on a lot of the things that cause us to be disconnected emotionally from a lot of the things that we shouldn't be disconnected from. But me in particular, when I think of all that this man did for the character, and I'm with Vince. I understand why comic book fans are like, no, they should have just recast them. But some things you can't just always have what you want, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you gotta accept the reality, and the reality is that this man died giving us what we always wanted, and there is no way to undervalue that. And I think Ryan Coogler, as well as everybody on that set, all agree, and including the execs. When you have money hungry execs like, yo, we feel you, and we agree, then you got to know that this man did something exceptional. Because listen, there's never been a time where an executive of a multi-billion-dollar company is like, we don't need any more money. Nah, we've got enough. There's never been that time. Right. In this case, everybody stood by this man for the commitment and what they saw this man do for this character. So I'm not going to be the one that steps outside of the box and says, oh, no, he did it, but we should move on because the comic books are, fuck the comic books, bro. Like, let's be honest. Like, come on, y'all, stop it. So, like, come on, man. Like, this is the one where I'm like, I will stand on a mountain and die on that hill for this one. Like, nah, man. Like, nah, this is just move on with the story. Give the mantle, pass the mantle, and let's write some good shit. Let's do it.
I definitely agree that Wakanda Forever needed to happen. Like, it should be that way. But we are in the middle of a multiverse saga. Yeah. So there's opportunities for other T'Challas. Will they ever be our T'Challa? No, never. But I think that there's opportunities to be explored where there are different mantles being upheld of Black Panther by different people, different versions to come out here and there. But I fully agree that Wakanda Forever was done in a way that absolutely upheld, respected, and memorialized Chadwick's contribution to everyone from Marvel fans to Black people who've been asking for shit like this forever. 100%. I just wonder where in the timeline Black Panther 3 will take place, because I feel like so many of the movies overlap in terms of the years that they take place. How old will Toussaint be in Black Panther 3? You know, because I feel like the MCU's in a spot where Kevin Feige thinks that limiting releases is the answer to everything, when we still have not addressed the poor quality of writing. And so it's like, I don't want, of all things, I don't want Black Panther to fall to the wayside. Granted, I know Ryan Coogler would not let us down, but my anxiety is Disney Marvel letting Black Panther fall to the wayside, because all of their other projects suck with writing at the moment. And so it's hard to continue that kind of level of production without other things backing it up and holding it up in the storyline where it takes place. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it does. I never do this. Ty, we've made a point to not do this, but Antoine, I want to challenge this comment. All right. He's not a bastard. His dad passed away. A bastard is when you have a child and there's still a marriage going on, and or he's just unclaimed, or there's unclaimed.
But he doesn't know. Well, he didn't know.
He didn't know that he didn't know she had the baby. Yeah, because he died. He died.
I guess he was. I guess were they married? Did they get married? No, they didn't get married. Did they get married?
Nah, they weren't married. Nah. She's not. If they were married,
if they were married, they would have known about his son.
Yeah, he. I mean, that you know, that I understand his comment. I understand his comment. But yeah,
I can't even clean it up, Antoine.
Now look. Now look. I was gonna address this comment, right? Not necessarily because you are right. He was technically a bastard. But this comment right here, Antoine, I can't agree with because I'm gonna tell you this, right? Yeah, they may never have wanted the character, but that character in that movie was the highest grossing movie that Marvel had did up to date until they went above and beyond to try to make surpass it. So whether or not they wanted it, it was a it like literally grabbed more money than any movie they had done to date. So whether or not they wanted it, once they wanted it or not is kind of irregardless because they basically made more money from this property than they had ever made ever.
Yeah.
So
it was the first $1 billion movie.
Yeah. So again, an exec at one of these multi-billion-dollar companies is never going to say we have enough money. That's what I'm saying is the fact that they were like, yo, we're not gonna that is totally the idea is that they also all saw what this man was capable and did. And so the response was that in regards to honoring his contribution, which was his life. And so I clearly can tell, Antoine, that you want T'Challa to be back more than anybody probably ever wanted him to be back, and I get it. But the idea that to say that the execs never really wanted it, so they didn't care if they were moving on wasn't a thing to them. That's not. Come on, man. Like let's be real. Like $1 billion is not something you just move on from, bro. That's not because that's how much that movie grossed. Over $1 billion. So
the point, Antoine's point may be that it was $1 billion, but somewhere secretly in the back of their head, they're like, we ain't need you for that. You know what I'm saying? There's somewhere in the back of their head. It might, and even as much as we consider it a huge goal, they went the next movie, Avengers. Even though they had to re-release it to hit the numbers, they still finally hit the beat. So yeah, I mean, I get where they're coming from. But either way, we running out of time here, man. I don't want to do the long form show today, man. And we already deeped 2 different topics. We didn't talk about Arcane. We said we was going to, and I still think Arcane tops Blue Eye Samurai. If you don't still think that, man,
stop it.
I mean, in the comments on our YouTube page, if you watch I posted the comment, the video of us debating that topic, and most people seem to agree with me, man. But some people say it's just incomparable because one's just a bloody, gory, series, and the other was more futuristic and more. I think they're comparable because they're animated series, but we'll talk about that another time.
I think also Vince that people are saying that because absence can cause you to. I mean, like this is fresh. Oh, Arcane is fresh on Arcane. So no, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not, but I've never said it's not. You've never heard me say that Arcane is not a really, 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 really good series. What I'm saying is for anybody to say that Arcane is way better and it's clear is because Blue Eye Samurai is not present right now. It's literally we're
it's on the same Netflix.
No. It's not that it's on the same Netflix. What I'm saying is it's not fresh. This is like we're now about a year and a half, or maybe a year. Since
this year.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, you might want to fact check that one. But either way, it's not fresh. This new Arcane series, the season 2, is fresh. And I get it. It's very good. But yeah, man, I don't know about that one.
Arcane is there's always been a story where, oh my God, you killed my father or you did me wrong. It's the Return of the Jedi story. You know what I'm saying? She's just in a blue-eyed white chick, and I'm not taking away from it. I think it's phenomenal, but Arcane, bro, it's so much deeper. Like it's underground versus overground. It's sister versus sister. There's so much going on, and the hex tech. Don't get me started, man. We got to talk about Arcane next time. We only got like 60 more seconds here. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Cyberpunk. It's giving me cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk was good too, though. That was.
No, I'm not
good,
saying it's not. I'm just saying it's
Okay.
giving me cyberpunk, like the whole hex gear. I was like, oh, so it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade.
The
All right,
upgrade,
cool.
that was that's difficult. That's crazy. But, appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Listen, we definitely have a lot going on in the future. We do have some guests coming on. We'll talk about a little anime, talk some DBZ. We got our people coming back following weeks. Unfortunately, Yaz, Anthony, and some of our others couldn't make it. I want to shout out Tiffy for joining us recently, and some other, whatever. So, you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and wrap it on up. Let's just go ahead and wrap it up, man. Well, thank you as always.
Thanks everybody in the comments.
Thanks, Ali.
Thanks everybody. Make
Come
sure you
on,
like and share. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We want to keep doing this, and we know y'all want us to keep doing it too. So thanks everybody for all your comments and all your support. Continue.
Yes, and as always, be your authentic self. If you ain't being yourself, then you're being fake. And in all things, if you truly a geek, go ahead and let that geek flag fly.
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10P Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud, but we got no stains. Cold ass lizard with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got the bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know.